This episode of the Esoteric Order of Roleplayers is brought to you by the generosity of our backers on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/esotericrp to find out how you can become a backer too. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to keep up with all the latest news, and join our Discord community to chat with players and fellow listeners. The Esoteric Order broadcasts from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We recognize these episodes are produced on the traditional territory of the Tewa-speaking Pueblo peoples, and we acknowledge their community, their ancestors, their elders both past and present, and future generations. The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers present The Great Game, a Castle Falkenstein campaign, with David Larkins as the host. We have got a mystery to solve, and y'all are doing a good job. We're on chapter 3. The chapters in this adventure don't really have evocative titles, sadly. So, chapter 3. The mystery goes on. The mystery continues. So we left off last week at the policeman's benefit ball for the Academy of Sciences. Alex, do you remember your conversation?
With let me pull the obsidian portal here. Yes, I went to have a conversation with Felix Wasson, and came to the conclusion that he was under the effects of some form of hypnosis. And he started to get pretty agitated right away. And I think I remember dropping a bunch of cards on it just to get like an ultimate result. And so I found out that that was kind of a thing that sometimes people that are under this hypnosis will exhibit aggression towards anyone who tries to interact with them or snap them out of it. So I backed away, went and found Grant by the pig butter statue that we were both very uncomfortable around, and filled him in on the what I discovered there. Also, I think I had a little insight into it possibly being his brother who may have been responsible. His brother is a known was he a phrenologist and other alienist, yes. So but that was just a hunch. That wasn't anything solid. I think that's where we left off. We're still at the ball.
Yes. And then we had another lead with the gun designer Jean Lemott. And is there anything else? Ah, yes, that strange painting that Monsieur Eiffel told Breksta about, I believe. And anything else? Well, I think that was about it, unless I'm forgetting anything. So, at the ball, is there anything any of you would like to do before we sort of draw a curtain on it?
Are we planning on doing anything with this police captain guy, or are we just gonna like reconvene afterwards? Not sure what. I don't think we ever actually discussed what our
No.
immediate plans were, and also I think we still need to let everyone else know in some way. So
Yeah.
that might be something we want to do.
Yeah, because when you were tipping your hat while walking backwards repeatedly, yeah, I was dancing with my clunkily butt tools with Inspector Lucas. So
That's right. So yeah, Astrid, you are waltzing with the inspector, and and so he says, "I hope you understand it was nothing personal. It's just police work."
no, something very strange happened under your watch, and it's something you had to look into and take seriously. I understand.
Indeed. Um, all else being equal, I would just as well prefer not to file any charges against you, mademoiselle.
I would definitely prefer that as well. Have you found anything else? I know that my friends are doing some work on their end.
Well, as you are our chief suspect, I am not at liberty to discuss anything we have found so far. Other than, I do have some testimony from some of the residents of your immediate neighborhood of strange comings and goings with large satchels.
Oh, well, yeah, I am an engineer. So perhaps there are things related to my work or various tea parties or something.
I
Yep.
see. Tea parties.
Yes. I mean, you've met my friends. Sometimes they have tea.
I see. Well,
Yeah.
you can keep your secrets. They may come out in the end.
Internally, just fuck.
Get the spotlight off of me. All right. So Frederick and Grant, you are confabbing. So is there anything you do want to do about the prefect this evening?
We've established this guy's like a ticking time bomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I reckon we better either get him out of here or snap him out of it or both. Probably. I mean, I imagine hypnotism. Well, first of all, what do I know about hypnotism? Because Kenny thinks it might be like waking up a sleepwalker to the 10th degree. But Grant might know a little more about it since he's more magically inclined than yours truly.
Mm-hmm. I take it you don't have any levels in mesmerism.
Correct. Neither
Well,
Kenny nor Grant.
So Frederick actually got a high success on his mesmerism feat. So just to kind of reiterate what I told Alex last week, I'm sure Frederick would, communicate that to you. Is that yeah, indeed, this is a volatile situation. The mesmerized person is subject to spells of lucidity, but also sudden outbursts if they are, disturbed in any way, verbally, physically. You know, they may have certain triggers that are embedded in their psyche. When something happens, they may, something might happen.
Man, I kind of want to see what this dude's triggers are. Honestly. Because who knows? I mean, I imagine it might be something poetic, like he sees butter and freaks out, But I don't know. I mean, I'm also, I don't want this dude to be like, must kill the queen, and
Yeah, exactly.
you know.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I must kill the queen.
The queen.
Glad we're all on the same page there.
Not Reggie Jackson. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say to this guy. Grant might look at Haas and pull a drink out of his lapel pocket and say, "Well, Haas, what do you? You're more inclined to be skirting these kinds of situations than I am. I think I'm much more direct with my solutions. What do you suggest we do?"
Well, so Frederick is definitely nervous about the situation. You see it on his face.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looking around because, like you, he doesn't want to just leave this alone. But, dealing directly is obviously going to put us in some kind of situation. And this guy being a high-ranking so-and-so is, also puts us in a precarious position from a social standpoint. So I think I'd like to go seek out everyone else, maybe try to quietly and in a nondescript fashion get everybody together in such a way that it's like, we're not making much of a scene, but we can all kind of discuss what to do next. I think, Frederick's a little bit at a loss here just because of the, potential ramifications.
I think I would agree with that. While you're off gathering the crew, I might stay close to the prefect, and should anything happen, I can subdue him in the most nonviolent way that I am capable of.
Okay, that's very
I like
qualified.
to see what you consider non-violent
Yeah, exactly. Just
or
punching him.
non-lethal.
Just Steve's
Pistol whipping
Pistol whip him
repeatedly.
across the face.
I pistol whipped him. I didn't shoot him.
Yeah, there's no need to start a war here, fellers. We just got out of one.
I would say at the end of that waltz, I would probably kind of hurry over to the buffet table, like rip off a piece of baguette, like take a big dig out of the butter sculpture that's upsetting everyone, and be like, might have a little bit of a problem with them looking into me, but we can talk about that later. I really hope Potterfield hasn't been getting into trouble, because that will not help me right now. Oh man, I'm sure everything's fine. Oh.
I love the idea that you're dismembering a butter sculpture while you're talking about Potterfield.
Just surgically.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I do.
Uh-huh. Okay, how about Iskander? What's Iskander up to?
So I was eavesdropping, and whilst availing myself of the hors d'oeuvres and drinks, daintily with pinky extended and holding the absurdly tiny sausages and so forth. And I think that, if I saw a gathering of my companions, I would likely make my way over there, and I would try to do so nonchalantly, but given that I'm bad at stealth, I don't know how inconspicuous I would end up being. Try to sort of look this way, look that way, and do the whistle while you stroll thing over there to join in their conversation, having gleaned very little from my eavesdropping, other than I remember I overheard a couple of, I think, officers discussing something last time about maybe their doubts or concerns, their general consternation.
Yeah, they were talking about how the key to the case was the mechanism on the gun, but nobody none of the gunsmiths or inventors were offering any information.
That's it. Yeah. They were being stymied by lack of information. So
Yes.
I do recall that.
We
And
had a clue, right? Where some gunsmith.
Yes, that was Lemot. Yes. Jean Lemot. So yeah, that's where that clue was generated. So, and in fact, Iskander, you'll have that connection, to follow up on. And since you were near the buffet to begin with, it is no trouble to just sort of sidle on over to where you see your companions beginning to gather together. Like
so Frederick will wave
microbes.
Iskander over when he sees him kind of, towering over the, kind of coming through the crowd.
Yeah.
Trying to wave as high as I can. Well, actually, without being too obvious. I'll start to wave and then I'll pretend like I was stretching.
Put your hat on your cane and hold it on.
A baguette above my head.
A baguette.
A baguette. It's just attach the tricolor to a baguette and wave that.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, they'll love that.
All right, and then Breksta, you were wrapping up your conversation with Monsieur Eiffel, and he told you all about this painting he saw at the Louvre earlier that day, entitled "The Fall of the Fairy," painted by an English madman. All right, keep troubleshooting and keep talking, and then if you come in, we'll just bring you back in.
There you go.
All right. So, Breksta, we have a quantum Breksta somewhere in the room, but we'll just go back over to the buffet. So, yeah. Well, what's the plan? So, Grant, you want to go hassle the prefect?
Not really hassle him. I'm just like eating my beanie weenies next to him.
Right.
Yeah. I'm just like
with your club sauce.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just kind of around him and watching him. I'm listening for sure, just to see if he's talking to anybody, if anyone's talking to him.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm keeping an ear out for anything that's like suspicious. You know what I'm saying? Like, like the wind is in the east this day, or something like that.
Right. Yes. Yeah, no, so he is basically just propping up the wall, and occasionally somebody comes over and he has like the briefest little exchange of pleasantry, small talk, but his manner is so out of it, that it pretty much just shuts down any conversation. You don't hear anything suspicious, so yeah, he just seems to be kind of not entirely there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to bother him though. I don't want to make any moves until everybody's at least aware of the situation.
Okay. How about the rest of you?
Can you hear me now?
There she is!
Yay!
It suddenly decided that I have 3 microphones and that it was not connected to the right one.
Like how it just did it suddenly too. It was working fine.
I don't know. I think honestly it might just be that my laptop is old. And I ordered a webcam for my desktop, but it just hasn't arrived yet. So hopefully we'll have a backup.
Yeah, we're all having to upgrade our equipment here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as we were saying, what does Breksta up to? Yes, have to.
So what I was going to ask was, I make it a point usually of rubbing elbows with Europa's finest artistes, and I was wondering if I'd heard of Richard Dodd before, or if I've seen it myself.
Yes, indeed. Let's see here. So, Richard Dodd. You do rub shoulders with the artiste, so you know that he has, a reputation as being something of a madman. and that he is actually incarcerated at Broadmoor Hospital just outside London, where he was committed after killing his father, who he believed to be the devil in disguise. Which, in the world of Castle Falkenstein, is entirely possible.
I was gonna say, was he right?
Yeah.
Or did he do it? I don't know.
Yeah. So, that's what you know about Dodd.
Is he, like, how old is he at this point? I guess, like, for how long has he been incarcerated / how long has he been a painter for?
Mm-hmm. That you are not as certain of, other than the fact that he is an older gentleman. Let's see, it's 1871, so he's like in his 50s. And that, yeah, he established his career about maybe 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And he's still painting. No, he must be, because
yeah.
that one painting is from 1861.
Yes, exactly.
So painted after he was incarcerated for killing his father.
Yes.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yes, in fact, the painting is encouraged as part of his therapy.
Well, what do you know? Okay. Well, I find this all very disturbing. I've had quite enough of fairy slaying in general today, so I'm probably going to seek out the closest waiter and take a very large quaff of champagne.
Indeed. Yeah, I can do a screen share. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Rainey. Yeah, that's yeah, if you open that link she just posted and look at the image, typical of his painting style. Fairy Feller's master stroke.
Yes.
Also inspired a Queen song, same name.
I was also doing a little similar Wikipedia searching after the last session. Good.
Excellent. All right. So yeah, so that's what you know.
All right. Well, I suppose my desire would be tomorrow to go to the Louvre and see it for myself. And just, confirm, I suppose, that it is there.
All righty. Good. All right, so we're not kidnapping the prefect. Are we agreed on that?
Not yet.
Do I know that he's hypnotized yet? I'm just perhaps reckless enough to try it.
Ooh.
I have average mesmerism, but that doesn't mean that I don't feel perfectly confident in diddling with his brain.
If you have
Let me just get in there.
Yeah, if you're trained in mesmerism, so
less trained, just more that I possibly lack the ethics or the boundaries to not.
Okay, well, that's still a skill. Lacking ethics.
Well, if we all don't have it trained, well, I mean, except for Frederick, who would never use it because he's trained in it for in the negative way. It's mesmerism is cups. So if anyone wants to go ham, that's what we're looking for.
Like I said, I feel like I'd be like, oh, that's a simple enough glamour to walked away.
I'm just saying, I've got a couple. I could go. I've been saving this card for like 3 sessions.
Oh my
god.
Is it a death card?
No. I throw those away now.
Oh, come on. Those are so great.
I had it once. I've got.
Once was enough.
I've got a plan. Not really a plan, but I could very moderately successfully fly by the seat of my pants here. I don't know what any of that means. I'm just saying, if I were going to try to snap this dude out of it, or even is there a way that I could uncover his trigger or know who mesmerized him? Any of that kind of stuff?
I mean, yeah. If you want, if you're talking about like trying to de-mesmerize him using your own mesmerism.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to get him into a appropriate environment to do so.
Okay, well, so I'm gonna look back at the gang, be like, are we?
Oh, just a thumbs up, like
Yeah, kind of just thumbs upping and
I do
being
not
like,
know what I am thumbs upping to.
I'm like, you know,
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, hello.
I'm like looking at him, and then I'm like nodding over to the door next to me.
Yeah, so Frederick will give a thumbs up, thinking that it's like a greeting, like an American greeting.
Oh, phenomenal,
from the-
phenomenal.
Well, if you just expressed that you have discovered that he has been mesmerized and you're concerned about his remaining mesmerized, at the very least, I do have a very high charisma. I could try to just, like, in a way that's perhaps non-threatening, like,
Mhm.
kind of escort him from the main room, like, try to just be as, like, disarming and, like, calming as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That is
That's
helpful.
probably better than
Because
what I would have done.
Grant is friendly, but
Might just do magical brain surgery on him.
maybe.
Butter in his brain.
Could I turn his brain sentient?
There's
God.
only one
Also
way to find
margarine.
out.
I know,
Everything
yeah.
is sentient margarine now.
Yeah, if you guys want to, well, I mean, if I've been around there for a few minutes and he's not, getting in any trouble,
Mhm.
I might walk away when I see everybody kind of grouping up and be like, "What's the plan?" As I avoid making eye contact with the butter sculpture.
You like sidle up so that you don't have to look at it.
I've already thrown a napkin over it. So.
I was about to say, so no matter where you go, its eyes follow.
Right.
Okay, I dismantled it quite a bit, so at least it doesn't look
God.
like it's before.
Now it just looks all hacked up. That's all.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, yeah. Just gonna be like, all right, well, I'm pretty sure I can do something. I don't know what that something is yet. I've been known to improvise, but I think I can do something to get this fella kind of on the up and up, as it were. But we do have to get him to a secluded area where I might be able to concentrate, and if he does lash out, he's at least not hurting anybody or causing a scene.
We definitely don't want him to cause anything crazy. But Frederick, do you know anything about, like, if we could tell, like, what his purpose is in the mesmerism, like what he's supposed to be doing?
Did I learn any of that, Dave?
Not really. No. You just kind of you're positive that he is being mesmerized and it's having an addling effect on his brain, whatever it is. Which actually, you know what? You had a high success, so I'll throw in the additional detail that usually when that occurs, it's because the person being mesmerized is being asked to do something that they wouldn't normally do.
Okay. So I do not know what it is, but agitation, it's something against his nature. And from what I know of Monsieur Ozan, he is has a great reputation, has a stalwart fellow and dedicated public servant. So it's probably not good if he's having this bad of a reaction to it. Then whatever it is that he's, whatever's been implanted in his subconscious isn't good at all.
Well, then I suggest we get him the hell out of here before it gets worse.
Are there, so this ball that we're attending, where is it again? Like, what's the building or that it's in?
Yes, it was, one moment, I'll have it for you in one moment, please. Let's see here. The Hotel Carnivale, which is between the 3rd and 4th arrondissement.
Okay, so it's in just kind of a ballroom of the hotel.
Yeah. The grand ballroom, in fact.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'd prefer to get this over with because there's things that I need seeing to.
This is
My meds are starting to wear off.
That's right, damn it. Can only keep this hand steady so long.
Before the killing starts.
this
So I
is a
think we
hotel in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
I was just gonna say that this is a hotel in Paris, so there has to be some kind of boudoir or similar, or multiples of them, or something where
Alcove.
you can, yes, alcoves for canoodling and such that have to abound is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, there's a sign on the wall that says
So-
canoodling wing with an arrow.
Yeah, that way, right? The kind of sign that's like the old timey like finger pointing in that direction. You
Yeah.
know?
Like if this was
Sepia
America,
tone.
the sign would say French kissing, but since we're in France, it just says kissing.
Kissing.
Nice.
It says us kissing.
It says freedom kissing.
No, that's if it was in America.
That's true. That's true.
us kissing. That's awesome. No, you'd think that there would be all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. So
Yes.
if we want to handle this guy's confrontation, immediately and where we are, rather than absconding with him to, location unknown, or I guess your penthouse, we might want to see if we can get him to one of these places.
Yeah, I put up an image there on the Roll20, and the Hotel Carnivale is one of the rare examples of Renaissance architecture in Paris, alongside the Louvre Square courtyard. Built from 1548 to 1560, no way that place is haunted as hell. One of the oldest hotels in La Marais. In 1578, the hotel received its current name, stemming from a distortion of the name of its following owner, Madame de Carnavenoy of Brittany.
Wow. Yeah, definitely haunted. Cursed.
Oh god, haunted as
I see like
hell.
6 or 7 good alcoves in that one picture alone.
That
Is
one-
it-
I don't even think that's the main building. I think that's just the entrance.
Plus, I
Jeez.
feel like in the world of Falkenstein,
Oh
the
yeah.
hedge maze is a legit, like, tall hedge maze.
Yes.
Oh yeah, let's get him in the hedge maze.
Right. I 1,000,000% agree. To
That
the
might-
hedge maze.
That might scare
Post
Grant.
haste.
It scares me. I don't know.
Hedge maze. Oh no.
Oh
Don't
God.
worry, it's not a butter maze.
I know,
It's made
I've-
of bushes.
I've seen The Shining.
Apparently anything can be butter if you have the right attitude.
That is true.
If you're a wizard.
If you try hard enough.
If you're the greatest wizard Frederick Haas knows.
You just gotta believe.
You are great.
Just believe in yourself.
Yeah, Grant takes out a shaky hand and drinks. Yeah, I mean, I'm down to take this full wherever you guys need to, in order for us to get a little alone time. But like I said, I do need it done ASAFP.
There's the interior courtyard there. So
So the question remains, how do we get this guy to go with us? Or to go with one of us while the rest follow, or something, I don't know.
Can you mesmerize someone who's already been mesmerized? And I look at Breksta.
Actually, I was wondering if my allure skill can still work on someone who's been mesmerized.
ooh, I'd say it's definitely worth a try. You can absolutely try it.
Okay. Ooh, that's cups, isn't it?
Yes.
Worst case, I am
Okay.
like slowly
Wow.
pulling out gauze out of my bag to use as a gag if we need to.
Totally not suspicious in the middle of this giant ball. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop this guy so that I can get a complete new hand of cards.
Okay.
The Wheel of Fortune.
All right. Very good.
Drop.
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 Okay.
No, come on, last guy. There you go.
Thank y'all. And allow me to shuffle and to deal. Okay. There you go.
Okay. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right. So what would I need to get in a lure in order to...
Let's see. I would put it at you have to beat the mesmerism level of the person who did the mesmerizing.
Mm-hmm.
And so let me just get that in front of me here. All right. They are an excellent mesmerist.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that in numbers? That is, or I should say exceptional, yes. So that would be a 10 minimum.
Okay. I can play... So I only have an average allure, sadly. But I can add a 5 of cups plus 1 should bring it to 10, yes?
Okay, so you have an average allure, so you're actually starting from 4.
Mm-hmm.
And so then if you did the 5, yeah, that would be 9, and then, yeah, okay, plus 1 to 10. Yep, you got it.
Is that good enough, or do I need to beat it?
It's good enough for a partial success. You would have to get a 15 to get a full success.
I don't have enough to do 15, but at least a partial, hopefully.
All right, and you're just trying to kind of get his gain his trust to lead him outside or lead him away from the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, just enough. Like, I don't know. Oh, let's see. I'm a fairy. I can get away with being coy. It might even be something as like, oh, you know, it's awfully hot in here, don't you think? Like, do you think you could help me find a place that's a little quieter and a little cooler?
Okay. All right. I think with a partial success, that is good enough to not set him off or, have any negative repercussion. And then he just kind of very robotically, like with a full success, you might have gotten some lucidity out of him. But with a partial success, he's just still very like kind of blank-faced. But nonetheless, it kind of activates his, deeply ingrained gentlemanly instincts, right? So he's like, yes, of course, my lady, and offers his arm for you.
Okay. That being said, I got 2 major arcana, so I'm just discarding 1.
Okay.
Not playing it.
Ah, there goes death.
I know.
Bye, Dad.
Bye, Dad.
Such disappoint. It's so cool. You play it every time.
Every damn time.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something amazing. Watch this. Bam.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna
I'm
suck
screwed for the
next
rest of the
hour.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! It's the hold my beer card. How can you not play that?
Hold my beer card. That explains why the skeleton's holding a can of beer in the tarot card. I always wondered about that.
That makes perfect
Exactly what it
sense.
is.
Yeah, it's PBR. All right. Yeah, so you do get him outside. Are the rest of you in on this little gag?
Sure. Yeah. I'm no less amazed and bewildered at Breksta's ability to charm a mesmerized man, and I remarked to my companions, what a wondrous thing to behold.
Just be lucky it's not you. Ha ha ha.
Hey, don't I know it? I've looked down at my shoelaces.
That you know of. For all you know, she's been breaking into your apartment at night.
And then notice that they're tied together. Like, when did this happen?
To be Katsuboo. We all know how much cats love string. Just saying.
You've been training Katsuboo to tie people's shoelaces together?
I think actually Katsuboo was the one who trained me to go for the shoelaces.
Oh, there you go.
So when we see Breksta leading Ozan out, are we all going to like hustle to the hedge maze? Like
Yeah.
like
Lurk.
Scooby-Doo gang style.
Well, maybe like some of you like already drifted off to the hedge maze and are like waiting to meet us there, and then some of you can follow to make sure that it went well.
I'm definitely following. I would actually probably ask Iskander to wait behind with me, as we're probably the two more intimidating of the group.
I'm sure I have no idea what you mean, sir. But
yeah, I'm like, you're a
I
big
will
boy.
back your play.
And there is that like Turkish saying about being a better door than a window or whatever that Iskander
Totally.
personifies.
Yeah, I imagine Iskander probably like started to walk off, and I like grab your shoulder. I'm like, you're with me, big boy, and we stay behind a little bit and give our companions a few moments to get up ahead, so we don't look like quadruples.
Certainly, I have no affinity for such skulkings. As I look around for like a place to put down my absurdly tiny plate laden with toothpicks ornately carved and a tiny teacup. Finally, I don't know.
Just
put 'em on
crush it
top
to
of
powder in your
a
hand.
bush or something. Crush it to a fine powder. Yes, these could come in handy later. I'll probably end up just setting it down on top of a bush or something like
There you
that.
go, yeah. Them's free toothpicks.
There's a war on.
Yeah, so I guess after a few minutes, I mean, does anybody notice us? I'm looking around as they're kind of leading the prefect out. Does anyone notice us kind of absconding with the marshal here?
Yeah, I'd say with that partial success, a couple of the police officers do notice. But of course,
They're just going to assume I'm a typical floozy, though. Come on.
exactly. I was going to say, you're very well dressed. You're a lady. So they're just they notice, but they're not concerned. They just take note of it. Like, oh, there goes the prefect. Glad to see he's circulating a little bit. That kind of thing.
I might even loudly remark, like it's good of that young lady to take the prefect to get some fresh air, and he had been complaining to me about his stomach earlier and whatnot.
Okay.
Way to lay it on like margarine.
Totally. I'm like,
Smooth and buttery.
the prefect had been complaining to me earlier this very evening about his upturned stomach, and it's mighty nice of that young woman to take him outside for a breath of fresh air. Ain't that right, Iskander?
Yes, that is quite right. I had heard the same thing. I would say in the tone and cadence of like a fifth grader being chosen to read aloud in class from a play or something like that.
Popcorn. I'm like, popcorn,
Leave a
Iskander.
single person with charisma behind.
Yeah.
I have heard much the same thing. Don't you think so?
Right. Okay, so out to the hedge maze, the rest of you go. And into the hedge maze, the rest of you go. So who's going to do the deprogramming?
I think I'm going to give it a shot. What could possibly go wrong?
Is there a cool courtyard in the center of the hedge maze, like a fountain and, one of those things?
Yeah. Of course there is.
Okay, so I'll definitely be crouching behind that. Very suspiciously.
Nice. All right.
I'd
so
probably
Grant...
be stationed, like sitting on the fountain more obviously, but to keep an eye out, because I do have good perception at least. So I'm just like, keep and watch.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And now I'm going to look at y'all, and I'm going to be like, all right, does anyone have any last requests?
Oh, my God.
No.
I'm taking
What do you
requests.
want on your tombstone?
For real.
I don't know
Margarine?
a lot about mesmerism. Do I know enough at an average level to know, like, if this goes poorly, if it can be counteracted by, like, anything else? Like, if more mesmerism can help, or
Yeah, like
then he'll come to. And,
triage, mesmerism triage.
yeah, just in case.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Kind of a, requires a certain amount of time, effort, and focus.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
I am not trained in mesmerism, but I
Correct.
would assume that doesn't mean I'm average in it.
It does mean you're average in it.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell. All right.
Yeah, you're automatically average in everything unless it says otherwise.
Okay. Well, phenomenal. I guess I'm average
Could-
at mesmerism.
Grant use magic to counteract the mesmer?
That is entirely possible. Absolutely.
I mean, so as long as you don't throw your back out, I mean,
Margarine.
Yeah, I know.
I'm an old man. I'm an old man.
very worst
Um,
case, I've been reading some books on trepanation, so we can make some holes.
Oh my God.
Okay. I don't quite understand, but I trust you.
Who
About
was
as far as-
Definitely trust me with this fun drill thing.
Yeah, there we go.
There was a doctor in the 40s who went around doing lobotomy demonstrations with an ice pick.
He
And
did.
he'd go in through the tear duct and literally just do this, just like kind of
Did it? He did it out of his
break
van.
his sweat.
It was the
Yeah.
dude who he invented the lobotomy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and he did it for $25 out of his
Yep.
van. Never wore
Mhm.
gloves.
Nope.
Killed a
That's
bunch of people.
Sort of thing you come across, like, at a party, having a mishap with, like, oyster shucking or something like that.
Yeah. So I only bring it up to say we're in that zone right now.
Oh,
so
God.
let's see where that goes.
So
Okay.
I guess sort of in a related vein,
Mhm.
as far as, like, his, like, size and strength, like, how large? I mean, he looks like he's a bit older in his character portrait, so
Mhm.
is he still quite, like, vigorous and healthful and very tall? Is he kind of slight and wiry? Like, what's going on, and if he needs to be restrained?
Let's see here. He is kind of average in his build. He's fit, but a little older, as you say. And yeah, he doesn't seem to be. He's not oozing menace. Put it that way. He does have a cane with him.
I'd say we're more than capable of taking care of ourselves here. We got a Iskander. He's a big boy, and I kind of pat him on the chest.
That's as high as you can reach.
Yeah, I pat him on his belly.
Looks sort of nonplussed at this gesture of affection. Return it with a gentle clap on the back. Yes, I am quite fond of you too, Mr. Grant.
I'm imagining you just patted him on the belly without saying anything, like, sort of context in your head, imagining, like, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Give him a little belly
This must
scratch.
be what they do where you're from. It's funny that I'm the one from Greece, and you're the one, like, doing all of this, like,
Oh yeah.
which is fine.
Well, all right. So this is what, unless anybody else has any better suggestions, this is what I want out of this.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to come out of mesmerism safely and comfortably, and I want him to then relay to us all the information that he can, and if he cannot glean us the information of who mesmerized him, perhaps I can with my brain magic.
Indeed. Okay.
These are my demands.
These are my demands.
All
All right.
I think before we get started, hearing this plan, I would move to position myself behind the patient, quote unquote, in order to be prepared to catch or restrain him, depending on what becomes necessary,
Alrighty.
if
Sounds
possible.
good. Possible, absolutely. Okay. So you're getting yourselves positioned, set up. All right, Grant. Do you think?
All right. I'm reaching into the ether, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every time we get together, I'm like, I never remember to wear my Masonic ring until we're actually playing. I get out I've got my Masonic ring on. I grip my fist, take off the thick bison leather glove that conceals my hand, and make a fist. I funnel all this magical energy into me. Although I'm not casting a spell, am I?
It's up to you.
I would like to not.
So you're using your ring as a point of focus as you try to mesmerize it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay, dokie.
Got my ring and I'm like, looky here, officer. Got something nice and shiny for you.
Shiny.
Yeah.
All right, so similar deal. You have to beat the threshold of the person who did the mesmerizing, which is exceptional, which is a 10. I'm going to say you would need at least a full success of 15 to really get anywhere with this, and ideally you'd want a high success, which would be 20.
Now, for the record,
Okay.
I'm assuming I took his arm as I was sort of leading him out to his name. I'd like to say that I'm still holding him by one arm and standing right next to him, just in cases.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, y'all ready to see
this.
some shit?
Let's see some shit.
What's
Always
the
a surprise.
worst that could happen?
Okay. This one's a little vague, which is exactly what you want to hear when
Yeah,
you're
right.
doing brain surgery.
This one's open to interpretation.
All right. And we established earlier that cups is mesmerism.
Yes.
Okay. And I have a 4 because I'm average
Right.
in mesmerism myself. I dabble.
Indeed.
So I don't know why I'm so
No, you
nervous.
dabble.
So this is so first I'm going to play the Ace of Cups, which is going to put me at 19 immediately.
Thought you might do something like that. Yep.
However, like I said, I've been saving this card for some time.
Okay.
And I want to play it now. Now, when I said earlier, it's a little vague, open to interpretation. My interpretation of it is it may knock me up to the next level of success, but I'll leave that up to you.
Okay.
And we'll see the shit that I get into because I'm playing the devil.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is, and I'll read this out while you're looking at it. It says, beware the gifts of the good neighbors. A nearby fairy, which now we're getting political, or perhaps something else unearthly, comes to the dramatic character's aid, but such help often comes with a price.
Shit.
Of which Grant is willing to pay.
Oh, damn.
I just dropped it, buddy. If I could drop this mic, I probably wouldn't because it's expensive.
Also, it's on a stand.
Correct.
Wow. Interesting. Such help often comes with a price. Okay, cool.
If the price is $1.99, I got it.
Yeah, nearby Fae, eh? What do you think, Jade? I'll give you right of first refusal on that if you want to jump in.
Yeah, I'm down for some shenanigans.
Interesting.
Okay.
I don't know if you had something particular in mind and how that might manifest.
Let's
I mean,
see.
certainly if I'm already using my allure on him, allure is specifically overcoming the individual's will.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I mean, well, because fairy allure, right, is what makes men into slaves for indeterminate amounts of time.
Mm-hmm.
So, not using my comeliness, this was my actual, like, fey allure. So, it could be that his will is already weakened, or there's part of him that's, like, distracted enough that it's easier for Grant to make suggestions or kind of
I have an idea, actually, that has strucketh me.
Mm.
You are right next to a fountain. What if Breksta just takes him into the fountain and you just sort of disappear under the water?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you just take him down into your underwater, realm, basically.
Everyone knows this is, the portal of this hotel to the Fey realm. Obviously, why else would we have put him
Obviously.
here?
Absolutely.
Why no one takes their kids there?
Jean-Jacques, do not throw a franc into that fountain. All right. Yeah, and I think that in that way, between Grant working his incredible mesmeric skills and then Breksta taking the prefect down into her cozy little, realm, right? You're going to be able to get everything you need out of him.
Phenomenal. And even phenomena.
Mm-hmm. That as well.
But at what cost?
But at what cost?
That's what I want to know.
Me too.
I don't know. Maybe Breksta doesn't want to give him back.
The Nixies, sadly, are not those kinds of fairies. We're usually the keep them for a week type, not the keep them for a few decades type.
Well, even a
And
week.
that's canon.
If he went missing for a week, that would be quite a thing.
Right.
So
But what's a week by comparison?
exactly. So
A week-
that's where
a week-
Breksta's coming from.
A week our time or a week in the realm?
No,
A week in the
your
real
time.
world. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, so I might, as far as price goes,
You
I don't.
lose him for a week. That's the price, obviously.
Well, I'm just throwing.
Everything's on hold for a whole week.
All right. I don't know that. I don't know that I have any say in this. This is a Kenny suggestion, but sometimes fairies are known to wed mortals or ask for their hand in marriage. I'm not saying Grant and Breksta get married, but
Although what a season finale cliffhanger that would
for real.
be.
Next episode of The Bachelor.
Yeah, exactly.
But Grant is he's got marital issues already, so wiggling out of that might be.
He's not even married yet. He already has marital issues.
Hey, don't we all? That's what he's trying to get. So yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I'm just spitballing.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Jade?
Not being a architectural or artistic visionary, you're not exactly my type.
I understand.
No offense.
How about the prefect? He has good charisma.
Ooh,
Yeah,
now we're
he just-
talking.
He lacks a certain je ne sais quoi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. I like the idea that he's just gone for a while without
It's like more like a retreat. He's gonna get to spend
Yeah.
some time drinking some tea, looking over my pond, getting his sanity back.
Exactly.
Imagining
He loves it.
The physical distance between the human realm and the Fey realm is enough to kind of snap that last little thread of mesmerism.
Perfect.
I don't think I actually need to keep him for a full week, or I don't
You do
think I
not.
would intend to. So,
Certainly not the intention, but these things happen.
Yeah.
He might be back for a late breakfast tomorrow. There will be scandalous talk, but
Exactly.
Who's got
Scandalous
that?
enough. The prefect went missing for 14 hours. It's like when Agatha Christie went missing, That's what happened. We don't know. Okay, so cool. I like that actually. Yeah, he'll turn up in the morning. That way you can come back as well and kind of give your report as to what you found out. But as to the rest of you, you just watch as Grant is like, look at my ring, look, focus on the ring, and then, Breksta kind of takes his hand and pats it gently, and he looks at Breksta, and then the two of them just turn and step into the pool and then just sink down into the water. And even though the water is only like 18 inches deep, there's no sign of them.
Wow.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah, how's Frederick feel about that?
Yeah, he's backing away from the pond.
Nine.
Back up against the hedgerow.
Not like this.
All right.
Well, this is going to cause some talk. We made a big show of him leading out the the ballroom with our friend
into an
here.
interior courtyard, no less. So it's not even like you're heading away from the building.
This brings whole new meaning to throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
I do not understand.
You're the queen of aphorisms.
Oh, right, yeah. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's not a Swedish one.
I'm gonna be like, it doesn't translate well.
Why would you
Perhaps.
do such a thing?
Perhaps it has something to do with the limited resources of a village. You may perhaps draw lots to see who has to throw out their baby.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Oh, those Americans and their strange ways.
This algebra makes perfect sense.
You throw the baby out after you bite the bullet.
Nice.
Well, I mean, who knows when she'll be back? So,
So yeah. Well, that do I now know the information, or is Breksta getting it?
Breksta is getting it.
Okay. Well, then I'd say we make our way back in slowly, one at a time. And like I said, well, I mean, y'all can hang out or you can go home, but I got some affairs I need seeing to.
I should probably let you know about a complication that may come up in the investigation, since apparently I am suspicious somehow. So the inspector let me know that my neighbors maybe reported that they saw some strange, large packages that looked suspiciously, probably like a sack of people, coming to my apartment.
Sounds like you need new neighbors who don't make up
Yeah.
such slanderous lies against you, lady.
You know how to keep
Yeah,
their
that
eyes
would
to
be-
themselves.
Unfortunate, except I did have sacks of bodies delivered to my apartment. So, yeah. I mean, I haven't in a while, but it did happen. So, just letting you know. Glad that's all out on the table. And yeah, whatever we want to do now is fine.
Oops.
I'm gonna go back inside.
Do you say sacks of people?
Grant walks away. He's like, I've seen too many bodies, man.
It's been too much violence. Just walk away. I accidentally
Yeah.
dealt 2 cards to Iskander, by the way. So
He's so
if you're
special
wondering
now.
why your hand is 6
Lucky.
cards.
Well, I know which ones I had, so... Oh, and they're just all conveniently in order. So, all right,
Lovely.
cool. Oh, me just randomly... Dang! Those are good cards, too. All right.
Sad. Thank you. All right.
Okay.
So we have a burgeoning crisis. Now, Grant, you said you had something to attend to.
Yeah, if I recall, Miss Bernhardt is in attendance.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I want to go sweep her off her feet.
Ooh. Damn.
That's right.
All right. You want to seduce Sarah Bernhardt.
Well, hold on. I didn't say that.
See,
You
if you
want
had
to
a death
intellectually
card,
seduce her.
Oh wait, like a sweep
I
attack?
had a death guy.
Yeah, you want to sweep.
I
You
wanna-
want to sweep the legs.
sweep the leg.
Sweeping the leg. Go up and kick the back of her knees.
You're gonna start like
Where's
an
my wife?
electric slide sort of thing on the dance floor to seduce her.
Totally. Yeah, I do want to go up to her and give her
Start doing the
a
robot.
yeah.
Yeah, little pop and lock.
That's
Yes.
right.
Anyway.
I go up to her, and when she's finished talking to whoever she's talking to, I
Mm-hmm.
take off my hat and I give a deep bow.
Mhm.
I say, "My lady, would you care to dance with an old fool this night?"
All right. So she looks at you. There's a moment searching, and she says, "Ah, Monsieur Grant from the train.
The
So
very
good to see
same.
you.
So
Of
good to see you.
course. I would love to
Phenomenal.
dance."
Good, good. Yeah, I take her hand and I dance the hell out of that ballroom. And if you
You
would
burn
like
that disco down.
if you would like a test, I could probably make one. But I'm
Let's
really
see.
oh yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm really out here. I mean, I am a pretty decent little dancer.
Hmm.
But I basically just want to probe her about what she knows about the Steam Lords,
Mm-hmm.
and in particular, if Monsieur Hug is either one of them or associated with them.
All right. Okay. So I would say that there's no need for a test on that. You're just taking her around the dance floor as you waltz, in time with the music in this gigantic turning wheel. And actually, you know what? I am going to make a test because she is so unearthly beautiful that it's a challenge to keep focused on what you want to talk to her about when you're this close
Ooh.
up and you're dancing with her, right?
Now we're talking.
Uh-huh. So this would obviously be cups, and she has a extraordinary charisma and extraordinary comeliness as well. So yeah, we're gonna need a 12 or better on. Let's see, what would be an appropriate? Do you have an idea of what you might use?
Well, let me see here.
Social graces might be one.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not much for any of that. Maybe could I perhaps use my courage?
Courage, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, good. Well, I'm great at that.
Okay, good. So
Um,
you only need four points then.
Well,
Keep your focus.
I'll drop a 12 of cups.
Damn!
Blah, blah, blah.
All right, you drop it like it's hot, and
That's
you
right.
get a full success on that bad boy.
That's like 20, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, yeah.
Yep.
Well,
All right, so you
I
are.
muster myself. I've
That's right.
faced down the enemy. I killed a grizzly with my bare hands.
Miss Bernhardt, I once killed a grizzly with my bare hands, but I can scarce keep my eyes off of you in this moment.
That's 100% what Grizzly's saying. He'll definitely he's definitely buttering her up. Not margaring her up.
No, not my.
That song writes itself.
That's right. He's buttering her up, and
Butter, not margarine.
yeah, and giving her the twirl, and just a good old fashioned American gentleman kind of waltz, and then that's when once I feel like perhaps she is butter in my hands, I will then start breaking out the hard questions.
Okay. Let's see here. If you could get your let's see, what did you play at 12, right? And you have got up to 20.
Mhm.
If you could get 4 more points, That would be a high success.
Well, I'll dump my hand then, because
All
I
right.
don't got any more cups.
That's fine.
And the first time in the
There you
whole
go.
game, no major arcana.
Wow. All right. Good. So you get the high success. So you are able to butter her up. She's totally going for this whole rugged frontiersman thing you're laying down. Tell me more about grizzly bears and so on and so forth.
Oh yeah,
You know, and
yeah. I show her the amulet that I wear around my neck. That's like the claw of the grizzly that I killed, and
yeah,
I've got my bison lined coat on and whatnot.
okay. Yeah, she's quite taken with all of it. So you then begin to query her about the Steam Lords, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
Steam Lords, and if Mr. Hoog has any connections with them, if he is one, if he's friends with any of them, if they're back in his play, any of that kind of thing. That's the kind of stuff I want to know.
Mm-hmm. So, she is personally acquainted with some of the Steam Lords, only because they have, patronized her plays during tours of Britain, and sent her flowers backstage and that kind of thing. Um, but she has never heard of this Monsieur Hug. Who is he? Why should I know who he is?
I regale her with tales of him opening up the margarine factory and how it was he who is upsetting all the Fey folk in the area. And how I suspect that he is, or is at least in cahoots with, some kinds of villains.
Hmm. Well, that all sounds terribly bourgeois to me. Um, he
Oh, I
must
didn't
be
want to.
new. He
Yeah,
must be
I don't
new
want.
money.
He definitely okay. New money. I got you. Well, I didn't want to cut you in on the butter, so to speak, so heavy. But I do feel like it's my obligation to let you know that the Fey folk in the area are upset, and that I don't know. I don't want to be like you need to watch your back, but I definitely want to be like like there's schemes at work here, and
Hmm.
it's best to keep your head down considering your heritage, miss.
Oh, yes. I had heard something about some disturbances. You have to understand, this is Paris, mon cher. There is always something going on. There are always people marching or protesting or something of that nature. But I am quite flattered that you would think of me, but you need not worry about my safety.
Okay, well I know you can take care of yourself, miss, and I give her a good dip on the dance floor. And as the song kind of like comes to an end, I want to we kind of like get arm's length apart, and I give a deep bow and kiss her the top of her hand
Hmm.
and thank her for a wonderful dance. And then I'm going to say, if I could, I'd like to ask one more thing of you, Miss Bernhardt.
Of course.
I know last time we had spoke, you knew something of a Miss Holmes and a Sir Percival and their nuptials. I was wondering if you had, seeing as how I caught up in the gossip here in Paris, I was wondering if you might have a word or two about that.
Nothing beyond what is in the society pages, which I believe we discussed.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, well, thank you very much, miss. Thank you for the wonderful dance, and have a wonderful night.
You too. And she watches you very intently as you make your way off the dance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe biting her lower lip slightly.
Oh, hey, well, I don't blame her.
Still got it.
That's right.
All right. So with that, a magical evening comes to an end. Astrid, you return to your flat to find some blood splatters on the floor and some remnants of a grocery run scattered across the counter in your kitchen area, and a Potterfield who is hiding away, trying to act as casual as possible while also looking super guilty.
Oh, you fetched some groceries. How nice of you. Did did you pull a stitch while you were out?
Yes. Just carrying too many things.
Yeah. I mean, fair enough. We haven't really tested the capacity of your assemblage. So, fair enough. As long as you're safe. Did everything go okay?
Just fine. Couldn't have gone better.
Like, I know that's not true, but Astrid doesn't know anything because she trusts everyone.
She's so trusting.
She's like, well, good. Let's see here. We've got like half a baguette and some dirt on this cheese. No, okay. I think we can make do with this. Do you need me to check those stitches for you, or did you handle it?
I tried my best, and they show you like the part where it's separated out, and there's like still like an inch wide gap on the back.
Oh yeah, that part's hard to reach, and so I'll finish the stitching and kind of check everything over on them.
Mhm.
We're going to have to be a little careful because it looks like some people noticed the work I was doing before I stopped because I met you.
Oh, so you heard?
Heard what?
Hmm? Nothing.
The
Nothing at all.
inspector I was working with said that the neighbors had been talking. That's all. So we should
Oh,
just lay low a little bit. Just be careful.
of course. Astrid, you said you had a good perception, right?
I do.
So, this is a top level sort of flat, like just takes up the whole top floor. And it's got these, big dormer windows, set in, along two sides. It's, probably about midnight by this point, maybe even a little later. And so it's pitch black outside, apart from the ambient light of the gas lamps and the crystal lamps and you know a few other light sources. And so it is from that very very low level background light that you see a black feline shape moving across one of those windows.
Is that Katsubu? It's like, Kitty.
Just as soon as you see it, disappears. Flash of fur.
Huh. Well, that's strange. Well, I'm sure there are other cats in Paris, but I was hoping it was Katsubu.
All right.
Oh, maybe we
On
can get to
that,
cat.
it's time for a cat. So on that enigmatic note, then we fast forward to the morning. We had some tasks ahead of us here, such as a visit to Jean Lemot and a visit to the Louvre once Breksta gets back, as well as her report on Prefect. Obviously, the morning papers all carry the headline, Prefect of Police missing. And there's speculation, especially in some of the more, shall we say, pro mortal papers, because those have to exist, of like, were the protesters, the anti-margarine protesters involved? Is this an act of petty revenge for the shooting that occurred yesterday? And so on and so forth. So yes, it's caused quite the stir. What's Frederick up to this morning?
So he's read the paper, as he suspected.
Mm-hmm.
And is it a work day for Frederick?
Let's see here. Did we establish what day it was? I don't think we did. So let's see. Let's just leave it up to chance here. We know it's May, and I'll just go ahead and roll dice here. I know I'm rolling dice in the middle of the Castle Falkenstein game. Sorry.
Yay!
Sinner.
Oh no, but it's about something Alex's character is doing, so it might be a chamber pot. Just saying.
Zing.
Yeah. Yep. I bet there's rolls for chamber pots in this game, and I'll find them.
Somebody dumps a chamber pot on you. I'm sorry. All right, so I got May 28th. So that, according to my 1871 calendar, that is a Sunday. So no, it is not a work day.
Okay, so I'll be reading the newspaper over breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of wondering casually where Katsubu is. He wasn't there when I got back from the ball, and still hasn't returned, but this isn't unusual for Katsubu. He sometimes heads off for days at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, what was our time crunch like returning all that stuff to Hoog?
Yes, of course. You also had that limitation. 24 hours, so this afternoon.
Okay. And just to go over it again, from his information, that's where we learned about the gunsmith.
Let's see
The
here. So,
gunsmith info is from the ferry camp. That's the one Katsubu found and gave to Breksta.
Okay. So we did learn that Hoog was was kind of participating in some sort of arms deal with the Prussians, right?
yes, he's trying to set up a gun factory to manufacture. He's courting Winchester in America, and then the Prussians are offering him money to manufacture repeating rifles for them. And then also he has been contacted regarding some stolen plans for a top secret minigun, if you will, from his Prussian contact. And let's see, you also found out that he is in a lot of debt and only paid $750 in taxes last year. Zing. Topical.
Oh no.
Nice.
Well then. How dare he?
Finally, let's kill this motherfucker.
That would never stand in today's money after
I was not thinking that. Like, is this in like 1870s money?
Yeah, well, actually, you're right. Yeah, hold on. Let me get my converter out.
Yeah, right. He paid
1870s
$23.
francs.
Yeah, I was gonna say 22 cents.
You found out he paid a gold eagle in taxes last year.
A pile of beaver pelts.
Yeah.
Well, that's my currency.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think I'll be spending the morning trying to put together a case to put before Carl Gross. As much as I loathe the thought of, interacting with him as much, I try to avoid as much as possible. This is just too important. So I'll be taking down copies, whatever the best way of doing that is, whether it's transcribing, if there's any kind of photo process to, take, some kind of evidence of that. But getting that done before we have to return that stuff in the afternoon, and then putting together a file to deliver to the embassy.
Okay. Perfect. By the way, $750 in today's money would be $38 in 1870 money.
I was off by 10 without going over, so I think I won.
You did. You won the showdown. All right. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, you have clerks at your disposal who can make, they can either make hand copies or they can photograph the documents,
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you want to take the documents and you want to make a copy?
Yeah, since we're returning the originals, presumably returning the originals before this afternoon.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to try to take as many copies or get as much information down as I possibly can. So
they are in my breast pocket.
Okay, so I'll need to figure out how to get those. But I think we'll I'm assuming that we'll probably all be, interacting at some point on Sunday, the day after. So yeah, however that works out, whether it's in the morning or later, but definitely before the afternoon.
Yeah, because we had definitely discussed the time constraint and that we couldn't go to the gunsmith until the following day, most likely, and things. So I'm sure we would have set a time to meet back up and make sure we could do things.
Absolutely. All right. So, shall we just say mid-morning then, since that's about when Breksta is going to be getting back?
Sure.
Okay. Back at Haas's place?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. All right. So, there you go then. You're all gathered together. Prefect Ozan has reappeared at the prefecture, remembering very little.
Grant is not there.
Ah. All right. Mysterious. And yeah, so basically I will summarize what Breksta found out last night. So, you were able to crack open the prefect's brain, essentially, and get him to remember everything. He has been repeatedly subjected to mesmeric sessions with his brother Auguste, who initially was engaged to help him fix his stutter, but in fact has been abusing the trust placed in him by controlling his brother's actions to a certain extent by having him funnel police officers to his office for mesmeric experiments. So Auguste is doing something to the Paris police force with his mesmerism. Beyond that, Felix does not know, but he is quite obviously devastated to come to that realization, have those memories brought up, and it's been the thing that's been causing him so much internal strife, because obviously he would never do such a thing under normal circumstances.
Given that he's the prefect of police, upon discovering this, would he have his brother arrested, do you think?
That is going to be whatever his next move is. It's presumable that he's going to do something about it, though, now that he knows. And it's only a matter of possibly hours, certainly days, before he makes a move.
Any connections between this and what happened with the fairies and that whole margarine side? Is it, any kind of hints at that?
Um, all that Breksta can say for sure is that Felix was not involved personally with that assassination. But as to the activities of his police force under the influence of his brother, that is another matter entirely.
Hmm.
Perhaps we should pay this guy a visit and see what he knows, see what he's willing to tell us.
Certainly trying to get the drop on him before he realizes that he needs to be on the run. Probably be a wise idea.
And I wouldn't want the P of the PP to be in danger by all these mesmerized peoples that he may be going against.
The big P.
Perhaps then suggesting to him that my comrades and I deal with his brother and collect him with the police department's blessing would be wise, so that he is not taken advantage of himself or his officers.
Hmm.
We have a wizard, so
Yeah. I wonder if Grant would recognize such an engagement as being deputized and being made into a posse to round up a dangerous criminal.
No, they have posses in France. Is that in the Code Napoleon?
Probably not.
that does sound very revolutionary, though. Yeah,
I was going to
in the
say.
malicious spirit.
Yeah, they probably have an analog.
English common law kind of thing.
I just imagine instead of a posse, it's just much bigger.
In France, we do not have posses; we have mobs.
Right, we have the entire town like coming to talk to you about how you're fucking up, cutting your head off.
Honey, the mob's outside. They want to talk to me.
So that's what I'm worried about right now.
All right. So, very good. So we've got all kinds of leads piling up here. So we've got the gunsmith. We have the mesmerist. We have a gallery visit, if you're still inclined to do that, or a museum visit, I should say. And of course, we have the continuing suspicion of the police in general as a general thing. Although there's not much you can do about that. And just to remind you that with the Madame Bondy, you inferred that she burned her hands because she was wearing lavender-soaked gloves. She had some kind of copy of blueprint paper that she tried to burn in her stove, and she recounted the tale of Michel's death, making it sound like it was some kind of a freak accident as he was moving to, prevent some rotten fruits from being thrown up at the stage.
It's a lot of leads.
That is a lot of leads. So, what is the next move? Who wants to go to the gunsmith?
I mean,
Yeah, Breksta does not want to go to the metal shop.
No,
No.
definitely not.
yeah, I feel like. Yeah, I feel like I would definitely want to go, but not any longer because of an interest in the workings of such things and how it could further my research, but just more because it's the strongest lead towards, I think, towards recovering my plans that I'm now trying to get back in the bottle, so to speak, to prevent the harm that they could wreak on the world.
Mhm.
I feel personally responsible for that getting out there.
All right. Does anyone want to go with this Iskander?
I mean, Astrid's the one who identified the photovoltaic material. So I think she would be keen to go and look for such things.
So Grant isn't at this meeting, right?
Correct.
And Grant has the evidence in his breast pocket, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So a nervous. So Frederick is going to. He'll go along with Iskander and Astrid to the gunsmith. The police prefix brother. Do we have any idea where he is?
Oh yeah, I mean you can look him up in the city directory. He's a practicing doctor, so you can get his address. Also, you would have Grant's calling card, so you do have Grant's current residence.
Okay.
Place of residence.
Okay. All right. So, change of plans. I will head by Grant's residence, see if I can get those sweet documents, and then I'm going to seek out the brother. What's his name again?
His
August?
name is August.
Auguste.
Yeah, I'm going to seek that guy out privately.
All right. Very good. Excellent. So, got Frederick off on that goose chase.
Goose chase.
Speaking of gooses, what is Breksta up to?
Well, I'm trying to think. I suppose if Frederick is going to seek out Auguste by himself, then I might just go ahead and head to the Louvre to seek out this painting. And perhaps, I imagine, oh my goodness, I have forgotten her name. Danielle is, a rather noticeable kind of character. I might ask around at the Louvre as well to see if she's been seen visiting
Okay.
recently.
Sure.
That's smart.
Okay, cool. So let's go to the workshop of Jean Lamotte first. All right. So Iskander and Astrid, you debark from your carriage and outside the address of Monsieur Lamotte's workshop, which takes up 2 floors of a rented space in the 6th arrondissement, and his the little label on the the address label outside the entryway to the building actually identifies him as a physician by trade. And actually, he's in the 15th arrondissement, roughly half a mile from the margarine factory. Fancy that.
Yeah, I was going to say, sounds like he was close to my neighborhood.
Yes, indeed. So, you walk through the courtyard, and you can hear the sound of a machine lathe, operating off and on inside the ground floor warehouse / workspace that he has set up. So as you enter in through the large delivery bay doors, you see this sort of later middle-aged man, salt and pepper hair, and he's got this big leather apron on, a little pencil tucked behind his ear, so definitely your people. And he's grinding some metal and then taking measurements with calipers and then making notes on a little notebook pulls out of his breast pocket, But then he sees the 2 of you and says, "Yes, hello, what is it? Do I have an appointment? Have I forgotten about something? Who are you? What's going on?"
Just
Yeah.
perception-wise, and you can talk first, it's totally fine. But do I notice anything that looks like they could be put together to make such materials as we saw on the weapon of interest?
He has extensive shelving that holds a lot of spare parts, bolts, screws, all kinds of stuff, and then also like kind of various projects in various stages of completion, half assembled mechanisms, and you see a lot of like clockwork, construction. So this is definitely something he would have been capable of building.
Okay.
Mhm.
Iskander.
Now, just to clarify, we're here because we want to find out if he built the murder weapon, basically. Is that correct? Okay.
Right.
And
or if he had plans stolen to such effect.
Got it. Okay. And the police have already contacted him, but he hasn't responded, or he's responded with a big old bow fingers or what. I don't remember what they said exactly about his.
What they
I don't think they mentioned him
but
specifically. Like they were talking about how none of the gunsmiths and inventors had come forward, but I don't think. I think the only mention we got of him was from the blueprints.
Okay, so none of them have come forward, but we found that clue. And that led us to his doorstep. But we don't have the scrap of blueprint anymore because all of that went somewhere.
You could have the blueprint. Grant just has all the papers from the safe.
Yeah. Okay.
Breksta got the blueprint paper, so if you had wanted that, you could have easily, asked for it.
I doubt Breksta would be like, "Ooh, this irony paper just."
It's paper that feels like I'm being lightly electrocuted. Yeah.
At all times, 9-volt battery.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm sure that I would have handed that over, let you keep it once you inspected it, since I have great use for such things.
That makes sense. So, in response to Monsieur Lamat's question, I will come straight to the point, sir. We must talk to you about this. And with a flourish, I'll pull out the piece of blueprint bearing his name and place it firmly down upon the nearby workbench and look at him sternly in the eye as though waiting a response.
All right, so he gets out little pince-nez glasses and clips them on his nose and looks down and, hey? Oh, this is some of my blueprint paper, yes. How did you come to acquire it?
We retrieved this from the possession of a local brownie resistance leader who we have very good reason to believe may have been involved in the assassination that recently took place at the margarine factory protests. In fact, we believe that this is a scrap of the very plans for the murder weapon itself.
Eh?
We're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Poppycock. Who are you? Are you with the police?
We are not with the police. We are merely concerned citizens. Furthermore, I have had plans stolen from me for a great weapon of war. This is a very evil jinn that I must get back in the bottle before it can wreak havoc upon the battlefields of this of the earth.
Yes, I've heard you want to rub them the right way. Allow me to put your mind at ease. There is only one key to the cabinets that contain all of my plans. That key is here. And he lifts a little chain from around his neck, and indeed you see a little key dangling at the end. Nobody has broken into my cabinets of late, or ever for that matter.
Well,
sure that you wouldn't just let go of a blueprint, especially when who knows what could be done with it. Is there any possibility, I'm not sure what types of protections you have on your amazing equipment, but is there any way it could have been magicked away from you? Perhaps could you open and check it out just to be sure nothing has been taken?
Well, as you can see, and he points at some, extensive filing cabinets, I have hundreds of plans in my cabinets. What would I be looking for exactly?
Is there a nearby chalkboard or similar something
Sure.
I can bust out a quick sketch on? Do the
What was
whole
the name
race
of
with the forearm.
the make of the gun again?
Oh, it was like named after a guy, like a Willoughby or something like
It was
that.
like a
Willoughby.
British one, because I really
Yeah,
wanted
that's a
it to be like
British,
personally engraved that said ass mouth on it, just so we could blame that dude for it.
Like after the fact.
Yeah, clearly, this is the perpetrator.
Look, it says so right here. Let's see. I can never hold it in my brain. Whitworth.
Right?
Whitworth
Okay, yeah,
rifle.
that's right. I knew it was a W something.
Yeah, like I said, like a Willoughby or something.
Yeah, there you go.
Whitworth. Okay.
It was
Right.
built on a Whitworth rifle frame, and it had a photovoltaic element.
Oh,
Yeah. So I
right.
feel like I should be like narrating as I'm sketching out the rough plans of what
Yeah.
it looked like on the board.
So he's watching that. And,
Arrows and labels and stuff. Nodding appropriately.
yes, I did actually design that very firing mechanism. I never built one though. It was sort of a intellectual exercise, really.
It was truly remarkable to see that someone had built it, likely from your plan based on this retrieved scrap. Could we see where that exercise plan may have been, just to make sure that it is still in your care?
Oh, of course. Strangely enough, as he's walking over to the cabinets, I just saw the plans in these drawers 2 days ago as I was searching for another set of plans. Let's see here. Yes, number 17G. Here we are. Unlocks it, pulls it out. Yes, flicking through it. It would be right here, but it's not here. It is missing. Oh dear.
The plans have been stolen then.
Yes,
Seems
but
there is a lot of that going on right now for us inventors and engineer types.
Quite so. But it's still impossible. It's quite impossible. I saw these plans 2 days ago, as I tell you, and I know, I designed it myself, that you could not build such a mechanism in less than 5 days.
Is there anyone else who would have known about this exercise?
Well, inventor to inventor. 3 days ago, a tall blonde woman visited my shop.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch! And she was curious. She wanted to know if there were ways to fire a rifle remotely. Well, I was rather taken by her, I don't mind telling you. And,
Yes, that happens.
well, I described the mechanism to her, but I didn't show her the blueprints or give her a copy or anything foolish like that. Like I say, that was only 3 days ago. Again, even if she had returned that night to steal the plans, it would not have been enough time for someone to make that mechanism. Use it in that
Did you
foul
happen to
murder.
notice that she discarded a handkerchief, perhaps that says BFF in very fine, stupid stitching on it?
No, there was no handkerchief left behind.
All right. Interesting. Well, I am sorry you had to make her acquaintance. This is very interesting to know. Please be on your guard. There is much suspicion going around towards engineers and inventors by the police, and we're trying to get to the bottom of what's actually happening.
Of course. Yes, well, obviously this is quite bothersome to me as well. So if there's anything I can do to assist in the future, and anything you can do to, well, keep my name out of the papers.
Yes,
If
I certainly would not want to throw any other intelligent people like yourself under the carriage, as they say.
Under the omnibus.
I'd like to give him one of my calling cards and ask that if you are contacted in the future or have already been contacted, to construct a miniaturized version of John Gatling's infamous invention, the Gatling Gun. You must refuse to do so under all circumstances. The damage could be unprecedented.
Of course, but I am most intrigued by this. We must, perhaps when all this calms down a bit, we'll have to get together for luncheon, and you can tell me more about this. I'm most intrigued.
Let us all exchange cards, as is customary.
Yeah, I'll give one of my cards to Astrid too, even though she already knows how to get a hold of me and everything. As if it's
like a
custom.
Japanese business meeting.
Yeah, I like how you've added pancration student underneath all of your other stuff.
The hand lettering. I like to think of it as the business card seen in American Psycho. It's just like
Yeah, exactly.
lettering.
Just to break out into
It
a
even
cold
has
sweat.
a watermark. Yeah.
I like to
Dear
think that
God.
I like to think that Iskander's business card has like amateur wrestler on it somewhere.
Amateur wrestler. Yeah.
Yeah, it has his wrestling name on it. Like,
Like Nacho Libre.
Yeah,
Yes.
semi-professional race car driver and amateur tattoo artist.
It's like the time I was having dinner in Petaluma and heard the guy at the table next to me introduce his dining companion to the waitress as his financial advisor and spiritual guru.
Ooh, that's a prestige class. You have to.
Yeah. He took 5 levels in financial advisor and then prestige classed up into spiritual guru.
She's gonna peak at life coach.
12th level life coach.
yeah, and then
So
I
he
think,
gets.
yeah,
Yes.
before we leave, though, I would mention, like, yes, and at this luncheon, perhaps we can also discuss, because he is also a doctor, like a medical
Oh, haha.
person,
Mhm.
the some information I have found on the crossover between the physical body and technologies.
Oh, most interesting indeed. And Miss Faraday, have I seen your name in the literature connected with Rhyme Engine Master?
Oh, yes. I worked under him, especially during his time on the Duchess, the train that we arrived here on.
Of course. That must be where I saw it. Well, I'd be most interested to pick your brain, as it were, about the engine magic that Master Rhyme has most recently discovered.
Of course, I'll bring the chisel.
Very good then.
If you want
All
to
right,
pick my
so-
brain, let's get to it.
Haha. So, good. So you have a connection there with Dr. Lemont. All right. So let's jump over to the Louvre. Miss Boland.
I have a
musée du
dastardly
Louvre.
idea.
All right, let's hear it.
So I got to take quite a good look at Danielle when I met her at the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And my shapeshift is good now. So
Mm,
I would like to try and take her shape
okay.
and stroll into the Louvre and, just sort of see if I get any reaction that way.
Nice.
And you have a pretty high level of shapeshifting, right? You have-
It's good,
It's
but
good, okay.
I'm going to go ahead and add
Yes.
an 8 of wands to that.
Nice. Okay, so that'll get you up to a 14. So, great, okay. That's extraordinary. So you take on her aspect exactly.
Phenomenal.
You learn how to imitate her exortly.
We used to have
And
glamored the dress, like the Bjork like dress, but like goose dress as your outfit for this.
I don't know if that seems like her style. However, I'll take it.
her style, like most brownies, is very rustic. It's kind
Okay.
of like French peasant girl kind of
Mhm.
chic.
Mhm.
Okay, so you stroll into the Musée du Louvre
Mhm.
and begin to stroll amongst the paintings. I'm guessing you've been here any number of times already.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
This ain't my first rodeo, as
No.
Grant might say.
Oh, yes. Everyone's getting Americanized by Grant.
That's how it
All
happens.
right. So, there's a fair number of people browsing around, but um, in due course, you navigate through the crowds. You don't seem to be drawing any particular notice. Nobody's really um, bothered or excited by your presence. And so you navigate through the crowds and find a little small gallery wing deep within the Louvre itself. And here, indeed, you find the painting in question, Fall of the Fairy. It is painted in Richard Dodd's distinctive vernacular, and it seems to show, because these are somewhat, almost surrealistic compositions he does, but it seems to show the exact moment of a bullet striking a victim in remarkable detail. Uh, Most remarkably, you see Michelle and Danielle depicted identifiably in the painting, and Michelle is the one being shot.
That is bizarre.
What is
I mean,
your perception, if I may ask?
it is also good, but I can
Okay.
check that up.
If you can get that up to great, you might notice something else.
How's this Ace of Pentacles?
Oh! All right.
You like pentacles?
You like pentacles? Because I got 15 of them.
I can
All
add
right.
more.
No, that's
Stack it.
How about them pentacles?
all right. So, great. So, yes, you can see this Michelle type character being felled by an assassin's bullet. And what you notice is that in Danielle's hand is a shining disc.
Mm.
It's being held in the palm of her hand and pointing back towards the source of the shot.
Does it look like a mirror, or does it look like anything else that I can identify?
Because you had such a good success, yeah, you can see upon closer inspection that it is indeed a hand mirror.
Well, that is just dastardly. Now, that being said, this painting was from 1861, so like 10
Yeah.
years ago, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel or seem at all like it's, I don't know, been altered or tampered with in any way, or?
Again, you got a really good success on that, so I'm going to say that you are quite sure that this is the original. You see no signs of overpainting, you know, or anything of that nature. All the brush strokes look original, and it's been, it's an oil painting, so it's been varnished and sealed.
Mm. I have no real idea what to make of that. I hadn't heard that Dodd was an oracle or anything like that.
Hmm.
And so I don't know if I rack my little fairy brain. Are there any other instances of his paintings having something, similar? Like
Yeah, not really. I mean, you just know about him because he's kind of, this,
Eccentric.
eccentric. Yeah, he's an outsider artist before that's such a thing, So, that's, obviously that's your kind of your wheelhouse is, the people who are pushing the envelope of imagination, creativity. That's
Mm-hmm.
about the only reason of him. Wasn't anything like, like, hey, yeah, this guy, is like a cipher and he occasionally paints
He's
things that
prophetic
haven't happened yet,
things.
you know.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Can I find someone who works here and ask them how long the painting has been hanging here for?
Oh, certainly. Yeah, so you flag down docent or the equivalent, and they say, "Oh, well, let's see. That's been hanging at least 5 years I've been working here."
All right. Fascinating.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I suppose it's perhaps time to see if I can't infiltrate the camp again.
Indeed. All right. So, over to Frederick.
Okay, so first stop, Grant Morgan's address. See if he's home.
Mhm. Now, Grant, you were staying at a hotel, correct?
That is correct.
And would you be at this hotel?
I'm somewhere in my room.
Very good. So, I don't know what they would have done in the days before telephones. It's not like the main desk can call up to your room or something. All right, so Frederick, you inquire about Grant down at the main desk. Presumably, they send a bellhop up, go knock on Grant's door, tell you got a visitor.
I yell, send him up drunkenly.
Okay,
All
so
right.
I arrive and I'm very familiar with this pastime. So I think nothing of it, of course.
Been there myself, man.
Yeah.
But my mind is kind of laser focused on the task at hand. So I cut to it pretty quickly and ask if I might borrow the documents for an hour or so for my clerks to copy, and they'll return them after they're done. And they're all, I trust them fully.
I get you can tell from the shape of my room. My bed is perfectly made. I've been sleeping on the floor next to it. On top of I basically take off my jacket and lay on the floor. I get up and I start patting around in the pockets and I hand them to you. And I say, well, if you trust them, just remember we got to have these back in Monsieur Hoog's hands sometime soon. What time is it?
You said it was early, or was it early afternoon at this
Say
point?
about yeah, getting
Before
getting
noon.
up towards noon. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think I would have arrived with my clerks. Like I would have had them at least come with me or meet me there.
Sure.
And so I'll see if they can, if I, where'd be a good place? Grant, is it all right if my clerks use your room?
Yeah, let me get some drinks. I turn around and start pouring drinks for everybody. I'm like, how many boys you got? And I'm like just pouring alcohol over cups.
I'm just picturing you wearing like your buffalo fur lined coat and then like just nothing on the bottom. There's just like the sock garters and
Pretty
the
much.
socks.
Totally.
Just a slight trace of your sagging ass, coming out from underneath.
See, like one of my big toe is like poking through my sock.
Yeah.
It's like a
What do you
union
have?
suit with the butt flap down.
Yeah.
Totally. Yep.
Perfect.
and I have like 3
I'm
or
like,
4 like
pardon
innocent
me.
interns, with
Okay.
me that are like, so
Yeah.
I think nothing of it, so I send it in.
All right.
Yeah, there's just these like law students.
Yeah.
Like, oh God.
Yeah, like
I'm like,
first year law
settle in,
students.
boys, and I turn around and I've got like a tray of shot glasses, and I'm handing them out to everybody. I'm like, drink up. It's cold outside.
So seeing that everything seems to be
In order.
in order here, I will take my leave, but I'll return assure Grant and the clerks that I'll return shortly.
Yeah, I'll get ready as Haas is going, because I know if Haas is here, I got to get going. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on these clerks. I don't necessarily trust anybody at this point.
I just love the idea that they're all like really like neatly put together. Like whatever the equivalent of like a neat haircut would be. In that era. Just like super like.
Yeah.
All right, want to make a good impression, and then like just this room, it just looks like fucking Jim Morrison's like hotel room.
Totally.
Smells horrible.
It looks like the hotel room from Fear and Loathing.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
It's just flooded with oranges floating in it.
I'm like getting ready, and these guys are like making copies of the documents, and I'm like, hell of a night last night, boys, huh?
Oh, we wouldn't know, sir.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, okay. I just keep getting ready.
One of them's like crossing himself.
Yeah. I just keep getting ready, but I'm watching them. They know it.
Right.
I keep commenting every now and again.
Sure. They're just diligently clerking. So Frederick, where are you headed off to then?
I'm heading to the residence of, let's see, what was his name? Auguste Wasson.
Ah, yes. All right. So that's not too far from Grant's hotel, so you can walk it.
Okay.
Now, as you're walking, you begin to note that there's the sound of footsteps walking in, like, concert with your own, same pace, just, maybe about 10 feet behind you.
Okay, so this path that takes me to Auguste's home, is it a straight shot or is it a little bit zigzaggy?
Oh, it's Paris, so it's zigzaggy.
Okay. So I'm going to attempt to get a look at whoever's following me, but I want to do it without them noticing that I'm looking. So I'm going to, take a turn down a street, and as I do so, maybe, bump into somebody or excuse myself, and then as I'm kind of turning towards them, I want to take a look and see if I can get eyes on whoever this is.
All right. So that's easily done, and you see 2 very beefy men. They're about Iskander's size and build. They're wearing your classic kind of French like striped shirts and high belted trousers, so they look very working class. One of them has a pretty nasty scar going down the left side of his face. The other one has cauliflower ears, and they got their hands stuffed in their pockets, and their little push down caps.
Okay. So, and they've been following me long enough that it's not just coincidence or...
Yeah, like they started following you as soon as you left the hotel. It's like they were waiting for you.
Okay. All right, so I'll keep going. I'll keep making my way there. I'll try to avoid alleys if at all possible, at least for now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I'll keep making my way over there to my destination.
Okay. All righty. Let's see. How's your physique?
Non-existent.
You actually have a 0 in physique. It shouldn't even be possible, and yet there it is.
So I'm assuming that means average.
Yeah. All right. You will have to give me a successful physique dramatics feat to outmaneuver these guys. And they have a good physique. So
Okay.
you'll need at least 2 points to get a partial success. Obviously, a full success would be ideal.
What would I need for a full success?
For full, you would need a 12, which is 8 points above your average. And obviously, it's
Okay.
wands is the suit in question.
All right. So, okay. I'm gonna throw that down and just go for the partial success.
Partial success. All right. Okie dokie. So, so yeah, they keep pace with you, but you do manage to keep them from maneuvering you into like, an alleyway or other out of the way spot. So, presently you arrive at Auguste Poisson's residence with your friend still in tow, and they just casually keep walking, past you as you pause outside of the walk up to Poisson's flat. But you can tell they're watching you, and it's almost assured that they will be waiting for you when you are done here.
Okay, so I'll head up to the door and knock.
All right. So a valet answers the door. Yes, may I help you?
Bonjour, I'm here to see Monsieur Poisson.
I see. He is with a patient at the moment. Do you have an appointment?
I do not, but I am a friend of his brother's, and I believe that he would be most interested in hearing what I have to say.
Certainly. Right this way then, sir. If I may take your coat and hat.
Okay.
And
So
he leads you, takes your things, takes your card, and leads you into a little parlor area.
all right, so I will make myself comfortable as I wait.
Right. There's just the ticking of a mantelpiece clock to accompany you. All right, back at the hotel, Grant, the clerks finish up their copying tasks and depart as quickly as possible.
Well done, fellers.
What's your next move?
Frederick didn't tell me where he was going, did he?
I don't believe so. Did you?
No, he's been very cagey about what he's up to.
Oh dear.
Well, I guess I'm heading to Mr. Hoogs.
All right. All
I
right.
feel like Grant would have concocted some sort of cowboy hangover cure involving vinegar and hot sauce and raw eggs and
Totally.
tobacco spit and whatever else. I don't know. Something.
Yeah. I definitely have wake up juice from Back to the Future 3.
Yeah. Half a raw onion.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. I probably have one of Haas's boys go get me a few things from the kitchen before they take off.
Anchovies and Worcestershire.
It's a Worcestershire.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some damn Worcestershire.
Give us some of that Worcestershire.
And I ain't talking about the village. Yeah, so then I gather my effects and Mr. Hoog's effects, and I start making my way down there and trying to concoct a story about how I got this stuff back from the land of fairy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm practicing. Probably out loud. Well, you see, Mr. Hoog, we've got some fairy companions of our own, and we sent her down there, and they're real particular about their particulars, and they get this and that, and we were dotting our T's, Mr. Hoog. I promise you that.
Things I had to promise them. Oh my.
Well, if my first son doesn't pop out with hooves, I don't know what went wrong.
thing about promising them their firstborn is if you never have a kid, then you never have to give it to them.
That's right. Man my age.
Honestly, my first thought is, what have you been doing with all this buffalo?
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you take a carriage over, find the margarine factory. Potterfield watches you from the window as you are escorted inside, and
I get a chill down my spine.
a flicking of the curtain.
Yeah.
On the top floor. But yeah, so Hoog meets you out on the floor of the factory. Well, did you get the papers?
I did, Mr. Hoog. You'll be happy to know. And I present them with a bow.
Oh, thank goodness. And he takes them and he's like kind of feeling that hydrogenated oil on the paper, and he's like, oh.
Yeah, some remnant of the land of Fae, I'm told.
Disgusting.
Yeah, vile creatures, Mr. Hoog.
Indeed they are.
Believe
Indeed
you
they
me.
are. Well, I am in your debt, sir, for securing these papers and taking that loathsome task upon yourself. Now, I believe, if you are amenable, we were to discuss financing the next time we met.
I was just about to say the same, please. And I motion for him to lead me in.
Yes, please step into my office. So entering the office, yeah, it's the memories are still fresh.
Too soon.
You do a double take just to make sure the safe is still iron.
I'm like, well, everything seems to be in order here.
Maybe it just winked at you. You're not sure.
Totally.
Yeah, it smells like a movie theater lobby.
Right. Takes me back being in here. Anywho. Anywho.
So how serious are you in terms of are you just gonna play him like a fish on the line, or are you like, hey, maybe I could actually get invested in this guy's company?
Well, I mean, I guess that remains to be seen. Mm-hmm. I want to get an eye. I want to get an eye. I'm gonna be blunt with the man because I think that's what he's a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a businessman.
Not waste each other's time.
All right, exactly. It's like, all right, Mr. Hoog, let's not pretend to misunderstand each other. I can't help but notice that you took this margarine factory and you seem to be making things that aren't meant to be put on a baguette.
Hey, that remains to be seen. You can do amazing things with the Winchester rifle.
That's right.
I have baked this Winchester rifle into a baguette. Now watch me fire it. So he nods and he says, "Well, I know that you had access to my papers, and I'm sure you didn't look on purpose, but I'm sure it's also hard not to see the letterheads and so forth."
Well, believe me, sir, I had to verify their contents. I can't just. Who knows what the fairies have floating around their oily realm? Don't look at me like that, Breksta.
Precisely so. Yes, with any luck, these will turn into. Yeah, I heard that. with any luck, these won't turn into dried oak leaves tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I give him a laugh. I'm like,
but I appreciate a man who is forthright in his business dealings, and you remind me of the Americans I have been corresponding with, which is perhaps why I thought that you would come here as an official representative of the Winchester Repeating Arms Company. But if that's not the case, then I'll just say it's obviously Providence has brought us together.
Again, I believe destiny I would prefer, sir, but I do understand your meaning. And yes, I would not want to come across as someone I am not, but I do have some money in my pocket, burning a hole, as it were, and I'm looking to diversify my income.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well then, let's get down to, as you Americans say, brass tacks. and we can discuss. So basically, he lays out, he realized that this margarine thing was just too hot to handle.
Okay.
Possibly also too cold to hold, and so he decided to start converting his factory to gun manufacturing, but then basically ran out of startup capital, and the local banks have not been forthcoming. He's from the kind of rural part of the Northeast, out near the Belgian border, and they had granted him a business loan on the condition he was going to build a margarine factory, and now he's coming back and saying, actually, I changed my mind. Bankers don't like that kind of thing. So
yeah.
But I have all the plans in place. I have a deal with the repeating arms company. I have interested clients. All I need is a little bit extra startup capital. We can arrange an amenable profit sharing plan, so that you can get your money back and then some handsomely. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that arms dealing is an evergreen industry, as they say.
Well, I know that. And I kind of give him some background on me and my time in the war, my experience with firearms, and then my stumbling upon a fortune in the Southwest. Do I get the impression that this dude is a bad guy? I mean, selling guns to who? Austria? Is that what he's doing?
Prussia, actually.
Prussia, that's right.
But he didn't tell you specifically. He just said he had some clients who were interested.
Right. Yeah. I would like to get some. Well, yeah, I might be like, I don't want to burn any bridges. Me being new here in Paris, so if you could, I would like a. I don't want to say like a business plan, but I would like to know some of these clients of yours. Perhaps I've had dealings with them in the past. Perhaps, we might be on uneven ground here. And if I'm going to be investing in your startup capital, I'm not so brazen as to say that I would like a chip in the bag, so to speak, of deciphering and deciding who your clientele is, but that might very well inform my decision.
Ah, yes. Well, of course. As you're a foreigner yourself, I'm sure I can be honest with you, and I'll just let you know that all of my business dealings are completely above board. Nothing I do is illegal. But I have had some interest expressed from the Prussian government.
Okay. And Grant, being a foreigner in this part of the world, what would he know of Prussia? Would he know that, like, they're enemies of France or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you're aware that Prussia and France are rivals, and that, the Iron Chancellor Bismarck would very much like to knock France down a few pegs.
Well, I mean, I'm not like some French patriot. Let me ask you guys this: what do you guys think? Should I play this fool? Should I put money into his business?
I mean, it might be a way for us to keep tabs on what the Prussians are doing, since Bernadette is being so slippery and holy and Prussian.
True.
And I don't think Frederick has said anything yet to anyone at the embassy. He's just had the information collected. So if it turns out that there's a better play here than turning it over, I think he would be okay with that. Maybe keeping that information as sort of an ace up our sleeve in case we need it.
Okay. All right. Well, me getting the psychic and spiritual blessings of
our heads are floating around here.
Yeah. Yeah. Of my team, I would be inclined to say, yeah, I'll throw in just be like, well, first of all, I need to know how much money he needs. Because I mean, in Kenny's head, I'm well well situated. In game terms, my exchequer, I believe, is only good.
Okay, you have a good exchequer.
I have good exchequer, but I also have good connection. So I may be able to, and I could play a card perhaps that might make my connections better if that helps me secure a loan, or is like, hey, I'll give you this much now, and I'm good for this much later.
Yeah, I think at that level, that's what it would be. Like you could give them a little down payment, and then spin some story about, oh, I have to wire for more, from back home, sell a few stocks or whatever, that kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, you could pull it off.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that then.
All right. So, as wheelings and dealings are being done at the margarine factory, let's see. So we had Breksta heading back to the protest camp, and then Astrid and Iskander. What are you up to?
So, having gotten the information that the plans were stolen from Dr. Lamott, I feel like we would, I mean, I don't know. I would propose that we seek to catch up with our companions at their various errands, at least at their last known errands. It's like, well, that was, we got that done.
The brownie camp is in the same neighborhood-ish as Astrid's apartment, right?
Yep.
So
it's very close by.
Probably.
Yeah.
If you guys head back to Astrid's apartment to sort of regroup, but I might.
Because honestly, we wouldn't know where anyone else is going anyway. Because Frederick was kind of secretive, and we knew Grant was returning paperwork at some point, but that was the extent of it.
Yeah, I'd wondered about that. Like, if it seemed like we had all been like, we're going here and we're going there, and like ready, break. But it was more of a less of an announcement or something like that. And okay.
That considering the margarine factory, Astrid's apartment, and the brownie camp are all in the same vicinity, and considering we knew that I was going to go investigate Danielle, and Grant is in the area anyways, it does seem like Astrid's apartment would be a likely place to regroup and, sort of touch base before doing anything. So I imagine I would probably go to seek you all out there before going and doing anything terribly rash.
Makes sense.
And Dr. Lamott's workshop is in the same area as well.
Nearby.
So, yeah, it's kind of a no-brainer. All right. I suppose we would have some Victorian Falkensteinian flavor of this conversation in game with each other, and then decide to head to your flat. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, and I mean, I think we'll have some information to try to piece through and figure out how we might be able to track down Bernadette and her connection to all this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you haven't met Potterfield, so you can do that too.
Excellent.
Indeed.
Okay, so that takes us back to the parlor of Dr. Voisson's office/residence. So, the one guy with the poor mesmerism skill has gone to visit the mesmerist. Excellent.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there in a seat, kind of nervously tapping my foot, just watching the door that leads out into the office.
Yeah. There's some magazines on the table next to you, There's an aquarium. And then you hear a door open. You hear some voices. You hear sound of people coming down the hall, and you see, a couple men, couple gentlemen pass by, and one of them is saying like, "Yes, well, I think we're nearly there. I think you've made tremendous progress this last week, so maybe just one or two more appointments. Excellent, yes." And then
Do I
front door
know?
opening.
Do I see the men as they pass by?
Hmm.
Do I recognize them?
Would you have reason to?
Were they attending the policeman's ball?
No, they were not.
Okay. And I haven't seen them elsewhere. I'm specifically looking for police officers. If I noticed, or do they have are they in uniform? I mean, I'm assuming they wouldn't just be in uniform, but
Right.
any other?
What's your perception?
Great.
Oh shit. Okay, yeah, actually the client you do recognize as one of the officers who had accompanied Inspector Legas to your flat.
Okay, so my foot is now tapping even faster.
All right, and then the gentleman comes back, and he's looking at his pocket watch and then tucking it away as he walks in the room. You can see the family resemblance to the brother. This fellow has much more aggressive mutton chops, and it's kind of spilling out over his collar and jacket, and but otherwise, yeah, definitely related. And so he peers at you. Yes, my valet says you have come to ask me a few questions, monsieur, and he takes your card out of his pocket. Monsieur Haas, is it?
Indeed. I am an acquaintance of your brother.
Yes. May I ask through which channels?
Through the MC. I'm an official diplomat from Austria.
Ah, I see. Oh, very good then. Can I offer you a drink, a cigar?
No, this won't take long.
Hmm.
Are we able to speak in private here? I'm assuming this is a private room, or is there a lot of foot traffic?
Oh no, it's just the parlor. So he says, "Oh, of course," and he turns and draws the parlor doors shut. They close with a click, and then he turns back around and walks over to the facing armchair, sits down. Please.
So I sit across from him, directly facing him, hands on my knees. Actually, one hand on my cane. And I say, I know what you did to your brother. I know who you are. I know what kind of monster you are. And I want to know what you're doing with the policeman. And as I'm saying this, I'm having these flashbacks to my time, my first job, my first diplomatic job, with the Fae, and not realizing it was a reassignment to a court of an unseelie baron. And during my tenure there, I was subjected to many forms of mental, I don't want to say torture, but definitely a lot of negative stuff. There are a lot of mind games, and it's because of this that I've developed this deep sort of loathing for anyone who acts in such a way. So yeah, this whole time I'm just kind of like sitting there with these thoughts going through my head as I'm laying this out.
Nice. Okay. So he listens to you completely impassively, and seems to have absolutely no reaction to your accusation, but instead just his eyes sort of boring into yours, he says, "I'm not entirely sure, monsieur, that you know what you are talking about. Indeed, I think you are entirely mistaken. So, we're going to have a duel of wills. So what is your courage, please?"
My courage is average.
Okay, and your mesmerism is poor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me get his here. All right.
It'd say during session 0 that potentially the reason for its poorness could offer him some protection against mesmerism. He just couldn't do the thing.
Correct. It's entirely possible.
No, I don't.
All right.
There's a 0.001% chance.
I'm fucked. All right, so this is how it's going to live. I have to create a new card deck here. Playing cards. There we are. Shuffle. Okay, so let's see. Each duelist starts by taking 6 cards from the deck. 2 of these should be red cards, 2 should be black cards. The suits or face values do not have to match, as long as each duelist has 2 black cards and 2 red cards. The remaining 2 cards should be either jokers or 2 face cards of the same type. Okay. All right, so let's see if we can actually figure out how to do this here.
So yeah, while this is happening, I'm just, hands at my sides, sweat starting to percolate on my brow, little vein pumping in the forehead. But I'm making a point of staring directly into his eyes. I'm not trying to look away. I'm not trying to break. I'm actually going in for it.
You're all in.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So go ahead and right-click over each card and select Take, and that'll move it up into your hand.
Okay.
Okay. So red cards represent attacks, i.e. your, sort of pushback or your verbal, attack, if you will.
Okay.
Black cards represent defenses, which would be, resisting his attempts to mesmerize you. And then face cards represent rests, okay? Those are pauses to catch your breath, metaphorically speaking. So what is, let's see here. We are using, or you are using courage. So what is your courage?
Average.
Average. Okay. So you have to use 4 rests per round. Okay. And there are 3 exchanges per round. Okay? Does that make sense? So in each exchange, you select one of your cards. You select an attack, a defense, or a rest. Okay?
Okay.
And then you play that, and then I play my choice, and we compare the 2 results.
Okay.
Out of those 6, since you have average courage, out of those 6 exchanges, or 6 cards, rather, that you're going to draw. So both duelists secretly pick 2 cards from the ones in their hand to represent their actions. So you can pick 2 attacks, 2 defenses, 2 rests, or any combination of the 3 types. Perfect. So out of your 6 selections over the course of the round, 4 have to be rests. Right?
Okay. And I get new cards as I expend them, or
no? Because these are just representational.
Okay.
The face values don't actually matter.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. So yeah, you're just gonna kind of mentally select your 2 choices for the first exchange.
Okay.
And then play them, and then pull them back into your hand once we're done. Okay.
Okay.
So I have made my selection.
Okay, I have also.
Okay, so we're just going to play those onto the table like so. Okay, so I played 2 attacks, you played an attack and a defense. A defense card automatically cancels out one of your opponent's attack cards. Okay, an unopposed attack automatically scores a hit and is resolved on the resolution table below. If a single attack gets through, is called a single touch. If two gets through, is called double touch. Obviously, this is could be used for physical fencing as well, physical duels. Okay, so very good. All right, so he got one attack through is the outcome of that, and then you got one on him as well. So with your courage of average against his, which is also, oh wait, no, where is he? Okay, he is also average. Interesting. All right, so let's see here. Okay, so basically you are going to have to, each of you are going to have to score a double hit to get any outcome here. Okay?
Okay.
Just so you know. So
Okay.
since you both got a single hit on each other, then that is, kind of a null result. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So, let's see. I can just drag these back. I don't know. Oops. Mm-hmm.
Do I take them back into my hand, or do
take
you
card? There we go. Yeah, take
Okay.
card. Got it.
All right, cool.
Also, I forgot to recall the cards on the table there. Okay, there we go. All right, so that was the first exchange. So do you get an idea of how this is working out?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So because he also has an average courage, that means he has to do 4 rests per round. So you see how the math works out here. Since neither one of us played a rest on the first exchange, we both have to play 2 rests on the second exchange and 2 rests on the third exchange. Right?
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Yeah, 'cause
Okay.
it's 3 rounds. All right.
Right. So just imagine you're like locking eyes with each other, and it's like, he's talking, you're talking, sweat's beating up on your brows as you're attempting to sort of like outmaneuver each other, verbally, right?
Okay.
Okay, so second round, rather. Third round. Second round. First exchange. Make your selections. And go. Aha! All right, so you scored a double hit on him. So he is going to take quote unquote damage from you. Interesting. Interesting indeed. All right, so that was a bold gambit, sir. Take your cards back.
And now I have to play double rest, right?
You have to play double rest. Now let's see here. I have already played. Let's see here. Cards maybe 2 attacks. The duelist or seconds count all 3 cards. No.
See, as we're doing this, I just
there.
keep reasserting this idea that he knows, what he's doing, and then I know what he's trying to do to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Get under his skin.
Yep. Interesting. So, okay. So I'm kind of doing the math in my head as we're doing this. So I thought I could maybe get in a double attack on you, but actually I can't because I played 1 rest on the first exchange. I need to play 3 more rests. 2 of them have to be in one of the exchanges. 1 of them has to be in the other exchange, which only leaves room for 1 attack. So, wow. Okay, you got him. You got him on this round, basically. So go ahead and take your cards back. All right. And we're on the 3rd round. This could very well be the deciding round. I don't know. Okay, so make your selections.
Okay.
Leon.
All right. Going bold. Double attack.
Ooh. All right. Well, I got double defense.
No.
So that cancels out both of yours. And we have a stalemate this round.
Okay, so question for you, Dave, about this dueling thing.
Mm-hmm.
When this all, however this ends up, wrapping up, with him succeeding or however that works, is that still considered similar to like doing a trait roll, like a
A dramatic feat.
Dramatic feat, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is that so? Like in the sense of like levels of successes and so forth?
Not explicitly so, no, because this is what I'm doing is I'm tracking your sort of mental hit points here, and the first
Gotcha.
person to hit 0 is going to crumble under the other person's assault, essentially.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mhm.
Good to know.
Yeah. You ready?
Sure. I love when a strategy completely falls apart.
Oh dear.
Because of surprise mechanics. Okay, let's do this.
All right, yay! All right, I'm playing 2 rests.
Okay, I was playing 2 attacks was my plan. Just keep going strong. So
All right. Well, I took a gamble. I thought maybe you were going to play 2 defenses. So, you started out with 4 mental hit points. He started out with 8. You've scored 2 double hits. Those each deduct 4 points apiece. So he just hit 0.
nice.
Okay.
Hooray!
That was very stressful.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Hey, should we open a window, clear the air?
I am sweating so much right now. Like,
Well done, sir. Well done.
Indeed. All right. So, yes, you managed to keep your cool and actually talk him down, talk him back and then sort of press your advantage so that his sort of mental defenses crumble before you. And at which point he does indeed break down and tell you everything. He confirms that he has indeed been mesmerizing his brother into providing him with police officers upon which to experiment. He regrets that the repeated mesmerism sessions have had the unfortunate side effect of addling his brother's brain, but his research involves planting suggestions into the minds of men of virtue, such as police officers, in the hope of making them more violent and willing to use lethal force. It is the doctor's hope that he can perfect this technique to use on French soldiers to help them overcome what he sees as cowardice and the aversion to killing experienced by some during times of war. My work has nothing to do with murder, monsieur. You must understand this. I have little interest in what a group of farmers and fairies are doing. And if this had some kind of unintended consequence, then it was never my intention.
And what is it you would have done with me had you succeeded at your attempts?
Well, obviously I would not have my methods known by the Austrian government or anybody else in positions of authority just yet. I am still working on my experiments, and I have not even written a paper yet. I would have just had you forget. Forget what you knew. Go on about your life.
All right, so can we hold off on I'm not really sure exactly what I want to do here.
Absolutely.
So I might wanna...
So, no, in fact, that's I was just giving you an opportunity if you want to get in the last word, but I was going to wrap things up at the end of this confrontation anyway. So, just to recap then, we have a strange painting that shows Danielle Bondy with a hand mirror in a scene otherwise exactly the same as the assassination. We have Grizzly Grant exploring his investment opportunities. We have.
This is a very lucrative session for me.
It really was, yeah. It's going to pay off big time. And we have Frederick Haas confirming that there have been dark dealings at the Paris prefecture, while some mysterious thugs await your departure from the doctor's office.
Ooh, yeah, don't forget that.
Mm-hmm. And otherwise, everyone else is converging on on Astrid's apartment.
Frederick needs to Spider-Man out a back window or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question: do you have a small window in your bathroom or kitchen that I could sneak out through, please? Thank you. Yeah. All right. Well,
Man,
yeah.
what a session.
No kidding. Thanks for
Yeah,
bearing with me
this
on those
one.
dueling rules.
No, that ended up. It's weird because like the listeners won't know how intensely we all just stared at some playing cards on a screen. Like so worried. It was cool.
It's like if you played
My
paper,
God.
rock, scissors with two hands.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Do we every session do we refresh our cards? I can't remember. Do we keep our cards from the last hand?
I was kind of refreshing between stories.
Okay.
Yeah, but of course
Okay.
you can always just dump your hand with a major Arcana card, or just on a dramatic feat, you can just go ahead and spend all 4 cards, give yourself +4, and then get a new draw. So
I'll hold off. I didn't know if that was the case. I was gonna share what zany thing I had planned
I mean,
until
if you want to, you're more
no
than
no no. I'm gonna save the card. So
Ooh, oh, okay,
yeah,
all
I
right.
had something very. It could have
Mhm.
gone really good or really bad. So
Oh,
Yeah.
damn. All right,
But
good is always the best
didn't have to
one.
do that.
Yeah.
Dang. Awesome
All right,
session, you
everyone.
guys.
For all the
Yeah, turned out
zaniness
great.
of last time, this time was all the seriousness and
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
real.
So
true.
it's like,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we were all over Paris tonight,
oh yeah.
Yeah,
and a little in the fairy realm. Some of us.
that too. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll do it
Yeah.
again next week.